Hi everyone, welcome to our Ukraine and European solar markets exchange webinar. My name is Michael Schmeler. I'm the Executive Advisor and Director of Market Intelligence at Repower Europe, the solar sector association here in Europe. As Ukraine continues to suffer from Russia's invasion on all fronts, electricity supply is one of many major concerns. Well, versatile solar power could be a key solution to provide safe power supply today, enabling Ukrainian authorities to sustain communications, medical care, clean water resources, and keep the basic lights on for Ukrainian citizens. Solar offers the lowest cost and non-polluting path to rebuild the energy infrastructure of the Eastern European country, which, and I'm not sure if many people know that, in 2019 was one of our continent's largest solar markets, with well-trained developers, EPCs, and O&M providers. This webinar today will be the first in a series of events organized by us, Solar Power Europe, and the Association of the Solar Energy in Ukraine. We've invited solar developers and EPCs from and with experience in Ukraine to share their background on the current situation on solar in the country and to discuss challenges and opportunities at a time when Ukrainian APCs are also looking for installation jobs across the EU. For the next nearly 90 minutes, after brief intros from me and Artem, the CEO of the Ukrainian Solar Association, we have 3 companies from the Ukraine and 1 from Bulgaria to present their solar experience. And finally, we will have a panel discussion where we will discuss what we learned today. Here briefly the agenda. First the intros, then the presentations. Finally, we have this Q&A. For the Q&A, please use, you have 2 options in Zoom, always the Q&A and the chat. If everyone actually just uses the chat, it's easier for me to read it and integrate your questions into the Q&A. Let's quickly just start with my intro. So, of course, Solar Power Europe stands with Ukraine. We have a cooperation actually and are working together since they are a European National Solar Association for a long time. As a consequence of the war, we launched recently also a Ukraine Solar Solidarity Task Force, which coordinates support efforts and tries to help. So the task force also develops and delivers equipment and expertise to people on the ground in Ukraine and is in constant contact with the Ukrainian Solar Association so that we can manage that. If you want to participate or help, you're invited to join the Ukraine Solar Solidarity Task Force and also consider donating via Solar Week in Brussels initiative. You can see the statement on our website. Just want to quickly give an intro on what's recently happened in Europe and at our association. We just published during Intersolar in Munich our global market outlook, and I just wanted to give you a quick some takeaways from that. So I think this is always important to show that solar is the lowest cost electricity source in most countries. This is the sort of famous graph from Lazar Capital in the US investment bank, which comes out with this slide every year, or with their LCOE report every year. And that's from the latest one, which came out end of last year. simply shows that solar has actually further improved compared to the 2020 version in comparison to the other technologies. And as you can see, we're still on the steepest cost reduction curve. This is, I think, also important when we look into the Ukraine, when we talk about rebuilding efforts of the energy infrastructure, to take into consideration how cheap solar is today. If we look at the market, I think the 2020s will definitely be a solar decade. No power generation source by far, no other power generation source is adding as much capacity as the solar sector does. We installed 168 gigawatts last year. That's around 21% more year on year. And for this year, we expect the market to grow by around 36% to 229 gigawatts. And that growth will continue for the next few years and beyond that. But I think our forecast only goes until 2026. In 2025, we anticipate, see that this orange line is our medium scenario. We anticipate the demand to grow or to reach the 300 gigawatt level for the first time. We also looked into Europe as part of this global market outlook, and here growth is even stronger than in the overall globally. The market grew actually by over 30% to 32 gigawatt. What you can see here is that the Ukraine is actually a considerable market. You can see that in red. And 2019, it was one of the top markets in the Ukraine, as I already mentioned. But even last year, nearly a gigawatt was installed in the Ukraine, a little bit down from the 1.4 you saw in 2020. So we're looking here also as an established and top 10 solar market in Europe. When we look at our scenarios, we anticipate the solar market in Europe to grow continuously for the coming years. So we will, from the 32 gigawatt last year, we will reach nearly 40 gigawatt this year, over 60 gigawatt already in 2024, and get to 75 gigawatt in 2026. This report was actually written in April mostly, so that was before something very positive for solar happened in the European Union. On May 18th, the European Commission launched their Repower EU strategy, which was implemented or proposed actually to make Europe independent from Russian fossil fuel energy imports. And there were a lot of positive solar provisions in this package of proposals from the Commission. One was actually a solar strategy, which is really, one can't emphasize that enough, because European Commission doesn't do it too often that they highlight one single technology. They did that with solar, and they increased the solar ambition quite a bit to 400 gigawatt DC by 2025 and to 750 gigawatt DC by 2030. And there will be several financing instruments to reach that target. I will show another slide actually to give you a few more details. It's also very important is there is a solar rooftops initiative, which includes a solar mandate on all new and renovated public and commercial buildings as of 2027, and all new residential buildings as of 2029. That's huge. So far, we see that only in a few German states. The German government has also suggested to do something similar, not as far-reaching as what Brussels now proposes. Big elephant in the room for renewables, in particular for wind, but also for solar, is permitting, and this is also addressed by go-to areas for renewable projects that should be established, and there come a couple of measures to support renewable projects, that it goes much faster. There's also a new EU Solar PV Industry Alliance. The EU wants to get not from one dependence into another, and now supports finally also manufacturing along the silicon supply chain in Europe, and they want to reach, target is to reach at least 20 gigawatt by 2025. We are there with silicon, but that's the only technology so far. And then come actually two interesting highlights that are also interesting for the Ukraine. One is the new export credit strategy for solar energy export, and that includes also the launch of Repower Ukraine initiative to rebuild the Ukraine power sector. And then there's also strong focus on hydrogen, so 10 million tons renewable hydrogen production in the EU, and 10 million tons outside the EU by 2030. And this also includes then the imports, obviously the Ukraine, and also a big chance to become a renewables exporter to the European Union. Just two more slides. So one is here the solar strategy, and I think that's really interesting. We had asked for 1 terawatt to be reached by 2030. So far we're under at 167 gigawatt in the EU end of last year, so that's actually quite a bit. We got 750, which is above our medium scenario, which was at around 670. So that's much more than the Commission was planning before. Although it is not as much as we had asked for, it is ambitious, because we're looking at annual installation rates of close to 60 gigawatts by 2025 and 68 gigawatts until 2030. If we look at the, and this is EU, if we look at the 27 gigawatts that was installed in the EU last year, that's some way to go. That's it from my side, and now I would like to give the words to Artem and have him also give a brief intro. Artem, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Michael, and I'm grateful to the Solar Power Europe for this initiative to promote Ukrainian solar EPC companies, and as well as to help for Ukrainian solar industry to cope with the consequences of war. Solar was doing great in Ukraine before the war. As of 1st of January 2022, Ukraine in total installed 8.5 gigawatt of renewables, except large hydro. And the share of solar energy was 6.3 gigawatt utility scale, and over 1 gigawatt of residential PV. Unfortunately, now over 1 gigawatt of renewables in Ukraine are directly affected by the war, have been targeted or even destroyed. And this war showed us a lot of benefits of renewables for every country. This war highlighted that renewable energy, particularly solar energy, could help every country to provide their citizens reliable, independent, clean energy. I can show you one example where in Ukraine, in the Zaporizhzhia region, 63 megawatt solar power plant utility scale was the only source for energy for its citizens during 1 week and supplied electricity to more than 35,000 people in the city. Because this city, unfortunately, was cut from the electricity supply that it has before. And a lot of private households also were affected by the shellings. And now is the time to think about renovation also for Ukraine and restoration of solar industry. This initiative that have been launched by Solar Energy Association of Ukraine and Solar Power Europe helps Ukrainians to receive equipment that is necessary for solar power, to receive solar power to their homes. And that is why it is important also for you to contribute to this. And I encourage you also to participate in this working group. And I wish that today's event will be productive for everybody in finding future contacts. And I think that we should proceed with another slide, not with this one that currently is on my screen. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Artem. Then we start now with the presentation of the companies, and we're happy to have with us Evgeny Yaremenko, who is the founder and CEO of Solar Steel Construction, and he will let us know more about what his company is doing. And Evgeny.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Artem, for inviting to this event. This is, I'm honored to be the first one to speak. This is my first speech and first participation in any online or offline event starting since the war started. And I will start shortly about the company presentation and just explain how the war affected us as a company and what our plans, what we are doing inside, in Ukraine and outside of Ukraine. Can you give me the control? Okay, thank you. So Solar SK is, first of all, the mounting system manufacturer. We are originally the steel processing company based in Ukraine, and we were growing up to the full scope of work solar EPC company. So today we are already 10 years on the market. We are the largest manufacturer of the mounting system in Ukraine, probably one of the largest in the Eastern Europe. We are top 5 of the EPC companies in Ukraine. We are first, we were the first place steel product importer in Ukraine, and third steel product processing company in Ukraine. We have a great experience. Up to now, we made 2 gigawatt of the manufactured mounting system and installed solar parks, 300 of which we made as an EPC. This is one of our factories. We have 3 factories. 2 of them are only steel processing factory, and that one is a joint venture with the partners. It includes also the hot dip galvanization process on the factory. So we can say that we are fully integrated steel processing company, processing only flat products, rolling, bending, stamping, and doing all the necessary coatings like galvanization, having our final products as the mounting systems for large scale or utility scale projects, I would say a solar roof system, as well as doing some installation works on sites. So we also have some new products which are super demanded right now all over the world. The carports, the APV, agrophotovoltaic products, considering the lack of the land or the problems to change the property of the land from agriculture to energy, which can save both usage to still grow crops and generate the solar power. So in general, we are, as I told you, one of the biggest coils importer in the Ukraine. We always have the stock of raw material. For today, it's a little bit lower than we had it before the war, but it's still, we say, the limit of 10,000-12,000 tons we always have on stock, which makes us, I would say, very flexible to do any design and to use this raw material for small and super big scale projects. So just some slides of our production, and this is the stock of the bolts, nuts, and clamps, slitting process, machines, galvanization line. As I told you, we grow from the steel processing company to the EPC. So we made 300 megawatts in total as EPC, and we do have all machines, necessary machines, and skilled staff for this. From the point of our markets, we even reached the Sakha Republic. We supplied something to Japan, but of course there is logistic reasonable markets for us. There are not far away, maybe in the radius of 1,500 kilometers from the place of production. And as for today, we have supplied more than 500 mega in the countries outside of Ukraine, mostly the European countries. So today, Solar SK is, I would say, having a new life. I would say, thinking realistically, we understand all the problems which company has because of the war. We understand all the responsibilities in front of our staff, employees, and their families. So I would say we are running 100% of our capacities, which are today only 30% of what we did before the war started. We had 3 factories. One is in Dnipro, where is our headquarters, Kyiv, and outside of the Kyiv. But I'm just talking about the challenges what we had for this 3.5 months of the war. We moved some of our machines. We had to move some of our machines to Stry city, which is a Lvov region. You see, it's not far away from the western border of Ukraine. We made it to minimize the risk, to keep our clients calm, because we had in the end of February and right now a lot of projects in process for our European partners. And in order to minimize the risk, we had to move some machine there. So actually, we also have the trading company in Poland. It's already running for 2 years. So the second step what we made in order to, I would say, minimize the risk is we changed all the contracts from Ukrainian company through Polish company. And before the contract is finished, I would say we do not inject money to Ukraine to confirm to the client that if any risk will happen, we will be ready, I would say, to cover, to send back the money and to save the project, to secure the project for our client. Recently, we started the business on the Balkans. On the Balkans, we think ourselves to be the installation and EPC company. We already running one of the projects here, 17 megawatt. It's on the final stage. It should be finished till the end of July. So we are thinking, in our thinking, that the whole market, the standard market where our clients are the big EPCs companies, we are not competing with them. We want to be a reliable supplier and designer of the steel structures. But on the Balkan market, we are the EPC here. So we also understand the risks today, which we have from many, I would say, this is the awful things what you can see. This was recently published in all media. You see what can happen, the real disaster in with the parks in Ukraine. So the work conditions, it brings a new reality for our clients and for us. So we focus already for 2 years. We were focusing in moving outside of Ukraine in Europe. As Michael told in his speech, the 2019 was the most successful year for Ukraine. We were growing, I think, more than 2 gigawatt of the solar installation. But right now our market is the Europe. We are already there. We have 3 existing company. We are thinking of doing the joint venture in Romania for the new manufacturing. So we will be already EU-based manufacturer. Today, the logistic issue is the critical for any industry in Ukraine. It's also critical for the whole world in terms of food shortage. We understand that the Black Sea ports are blocked. Some of our supplies and some incoming material were brought to us through the Black Sea ports. We're still using some Danube ports in Ukraine, but also thinking to change the logistic issue through the Romanian port and using more railroad service instead of going trucks. Also, the mission is to save as much diesel and gasoline as possible. The supply chain, it really ruined. We lost some cable factories in Ukraine. We lost some steel factories in Ukraine, which were originally the very good and quality steel producers. So right now we are changing them. We are signing a new contracts. We try to, I would say, establish new relationship with the EU and world suppliers. Of course, the people is our everything. We can't do nothing without the people. We have a great team in Ukraine. We have a problem today. Everybody here, our colleagues from Ukraine, they can't move the people free from market to market, I would say, outside of Ukraine. We were lucky because we started our Macedonian project a little bit more earlier. So we have the installation team of 35 person right now outside of Ukraine who are finishing the project. But of course, we have to join our efforts all together, including the association and the Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Construction, to come to the conclusion with our government to, I would say, approve UA working citizens whom we can secure in front of the government that they are not leaving the country, they will come back, to allow them to move to another countries where they can work and bring money and send them to Ukraine and I would say build the projects. Bankability and risk management, we are fully bankable. We are still signing the contracts for the delivery with using some advanced payment bonds, performance bond, warranty bonds. We are still also having the valid limits for Sinasure. Having the companies in Poland, in Romania, in Balkans, which is also Europe but non-EU countries, help us to have a fiscal maneuverability. If you are ready to work with the Ukrainian company, which is probably risky, but we try to avoid this risk and minimize this risk for each client. I think that's something what any manufacturer or company will do, but still it could be the risk from the fiscal point for the client. So we have an option to use any of their jurisdiction. And of course, we understand that today the world is changing. We had a so huge addiction to gas and oil, which definitely should be changed. And we understand and expect probably the highest demand. I would think this decade will be the era of the green energy, the solar energy, not only in Europe, but all over the world. So we try to do our best and to be, I would say, reliable and successful. And that's definitely what will change, I would say, the life and the lifestyle of each citizen, not only in Ukraine, but also in the European Union and Europe. Just a short overview of the project, what we have implemented. 72 mega, 60 mega, 58 mega. Most of them are in Ukraine. This project were supplied and constructed by us. Thank you for attention. I think I have to pass the word back to Michael and ready to answer your question in the chat, in the Q&A session.
Thanks, Yevgen. That was very insightful. Again, so to the audience, if you have any questions, please write in chat or Q&A. We will collect that and answer them later during the Q&A. But if anyone feels from the panelists, you can already do that within the chat. So there's also this possibility, so to make sure that we cover everything. We go to the next presentation, and I'm happy to have with us Władysław Skalski, who is head of CNES Europe, and he will tell us what CNES is doing in solar.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Michael, for the introduction, and thank you, Yevgen, for the overview of all the difficulties Ukrainian business have nowadays. And yes, my name is Władysław Skalski. I'm responsible for the NES Group development in Europe. NES, this is an international group of companies founded in Ukraine, which has implemented more than 100 solar power stations based on EPC contract, with a total peak capacity exceeding 1.2 gigawatt. Our mission is to reduce the impact of energy on global climate change by decarbonizing it. Our goal is 100% renewable. We do not change our goals, beliefs, we do not stop, and we continue to work even in such a difficult circumstances. And yes, that's true, there's a war in Ukraine, and this is another reality for Ukrainians, for the state, for the Ukrainian business, for the whole world. Business is a vital and integral part of sustaining the economy. And Ukrainian business, despite all the difficulties, operates and looks for ways to develop. On behalf of the NES Group, let me express a gratitude to everyone for helping us, supporting us, looking for the solution together with us to overcome difficult times. And thank you, Michael, you saved some time for me, because definitely we know this strategy, Repower EU, and we truly believe that Ukrainian EPC, they can play a really significant role in order to make it happen. So let me dwell upon the business area of the NES company. NES is a vertically integrated international group of companies that develops technologies and implements traditional and renewable energy projects, and has been operating since 2009. It's important to highlight that NES builds partnership based on win-win strategies. The company has extensive experience of cooperation with the world-class developers, and there is also cooperation experience with the investment companies and proven partnerships with the leading EU banks. We have significant experience in energy sector, both in traditional and renewable sector. And you can see here all the milestones, but I would like to stress your attention that in 2021, we have started our operational activities in Poland. And having in view results of the 2021 solar development in Poland and the project pipeline, we assume that the solar energy will achieve not less than 12 gigawatt at the end of the 2022. Currently, NES provides a full scope of services in the renewable energy sector, ranging from the design, supply, and production of the equipment, and the facilities construction to commissioning and connection to the grid. In-house R&D center is engaged in systematic research in power and electronics, develop energy accumulation systems, monitoring system for solar power plants, creates unique solutions for the mounting photovoltaic modules, and complex solution in electrical engineering. Beyond that, we provide comprehensive maintenance services for the solar power plants to maintain their efficiency, as well as generation forecasting services based on artificial intelligence. In addition, the company is involved in electricity trading and supply, including the energy from the renewable sources. We develop design projects for the construction, reconstruction, and technical re-equipment of the energy facilities. 128 solar power plants, they have been designed with a total peak capacity of more than 1.4 gigawatt peak, as well as 99% of the new construction and reconstruction of the substations necessary to connect those power plants to the grid. The company has its own production capacities. With R&D solutions, we manufacture mount instructions for the ground-based and rooftop solar power plants, electrical cabinets, junction boxes, and centralized inverter stations. Given the current situation in Ukraine, when in some region there is no stable electricity supply or it's not possible to use it, our company has developed a solution to overcome this problem. You can see below PVC, we call it. This is a mobile photovoltaic station with an electricity accumulation system to provide electricity to consumers with a total capacity of up to 3 kilowatt. NES has more than 10 years experience in project implementation based on the EPC contract terms, namely design of solar and wind power plants, distribution grids, substations, procurement of equipment, and full scope of the construction works. We always approach each project individually, provide the customer with the short project implementation terms, reliability, and high construction quality. Here you may observe just some cases and hundreds of successfully implemented projects of the construction of both ground-based and rooftop solar power plants in Ukraine. Amongst the largest ground-based solar station with the peak capacity of 92 megawatt and the 64 megawatt. We have implemented, as I said, more than 100 solar power plants in Ukraine with a total peak capacity of 1.2 gigawatt and 115 substations that have been constructed or reconstructed on the territory of our country. And currently we are engaged as a subcontractor on ongoing solar projects in Poland with a total peak capacity of 44 megawatts. Operation and maintenance services offered by NES company ensure smooth, secure, and efficient operation of the power facilities. Own dispatch center performs remote management and round-the-clock monitoring of the solar power plants, and the automated management system PV SCADA developed by the NES R&D Center allows quickly obtain information on the equipment status and the generation in real time. There is also PV forecast service for the forecasting solar plants generation. Here you can see the portfolio of more than 110 solar power plants under our company maintenance, and the total capacity of the facilities exceed 1.4 gigawatts. And of course, we have some power plants affected by the war, and we can see it in our dispatching center. Especially for the businesses interested in lowering operational expenses and to have a green energy in the energy mix, we have developed the free own generation model, efficient electricity management using renewable energy sources. This turnkey solution envisages the construction of the solar power plant integrated into consumer internal grids, so that electricity from the solar power plant provides the maximum consumption schedule with the minimum output to the external grid. Thanks to this solution, companies can save on electricity consumption, partially decarbonize their own production, increase the ESG component of the company, and turn the free unused roof area into an asset. And thanks to the increase in the installed capacity of distributed generation, plus arrangement of the energy storage solution for the energy transfer in time, the solution will make it possible to increase savings on electricity consumption due to the installation of the solar power plant with energy storage solution, which is integrated into internal grid of the consumer, to become an active electricity consumer and provide services to the system operator in the nearest future, increase the share of the clean electricity consumption, increase customer energy independence, and provide the uninterrupted power supply. It's worth mentioning that NAS Group strictly adheres to the requirements of the ISO standards and is proficient in both technical and financial audits, thus justifying its competences and providing its ability to cooperate with the most demanding customers and financial institutions. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Vladislav. Very interesting. And again, if there's any questions, feel free to contribute in the chat, but also if you have statements or want to answer, please use the chat to interact with each other. We will also, and some of that will be also then used for our panel. Next speaker is Lyudmila Shepisko. She's the development director of NRO Sila Group, and we're looking forward to your presentation. The floor is yours, Lyudmila.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. I am business development officer from NRO Sila Group companies. It is a group of companies which was born in Ukraine that develops not only and implements not only renewable but also traditional energy projects. For now on, we had projects only in Ukraine. We perform engineering, procurement, construction in like turnkey construction of solar power plants. The company performs implementation of investment construction projects. It complete from choosing the construction facility, collecting, preparing primary enabling documentation, also design, also equipment supplying to commissioning and connection. This form provides control of project implementation without a direct involvement of client. Also our responsibility. Our project design team makes project design for all the objects, objects of increased complexity. For now on, we has made project design of more than 35 PV plants in Ukraine, with total capacity is near 500 megawatts. Excuse me, where is my presentation? Can you give me control?
Chiara, can you do that?
Oh, thank you. On these slides, you can see some of our projects with high capacity. One of the biggest was a project by DTEC in Pokrov, which was with peak capacity more than 90 megawatts. The term construction was near 4 months. On this slide, you can show in which our location of our projects in Ukraine. we make maintenance of existing installation. For before the war, it was more than 700 megawatts, but for now on, more than 300 megawatts of these polar plants is on occupied territory, so we cannot do something with them. And some of our also heavy equipment were stolen, but those which we have, it is near 100 entities. We relocate to west part of Ukraine, and now we are on negotiations to relocate it in Poland. But for now on, it is on west part. Before this, we made a complete cycle of maintenance of all the existing installations, such as also preparatory walls, construction of access and internal roads. Also, we made non-standard solutions for optimization of construction time, do all the best for optimize this time. For example, for one project, we make an arrangement of pontoon crossing, which were more than 100 meters in length. We have also our own electrotechnical laboratory, but for now it is in Kherson region. And we try to relocate it, and we hope we do this. And our company has ability to perform works for all installations at any time of the year, in particular even in winter at low temperatures and in autumn during the rainy season, which make possible to reduce the payback period of any project. So we found the ways how to reduce these periods. The experience of our design team minimizes the construction time of energy facilities. Also, we have the big number of our own piling machines, which are all of them are now on west part of Ukraine, not in Kherson region, and this 10 piling machines make possible to carry out works at the shortest possible time. For example, one piling machine can drive near 400 piles per one day. So using these 10 machines, we can do 4,000 driven piles per one day. At the moment, we are expanding the geography of our activities, and we have opened a representative office in Poland to provide construction services and work as EPC contractor in Europe, not only in Ukraine. And now we are on negotiations to open such office also in Germany. That's all. Short presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Ludmila. Very interesting. I think we will soon speak on the panel. We come to the final presentation, which is given by Mariana Yaneva. She's the head of sales and marketing at Renergy, which is not a Ukrainian but a Bulgarian company. And Mariana will let us know what they are doing. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael. I'm actually, our company is based in Bulgaria, and I'm here also with another hat today because I represent a Bulgarian NGO, Association for Production, Storage and Trading of Electricity. And both the association and Renergy are part of the task force and Solar Power Europe trying to support Ukraine in their initiative in any way possible. So today I aim to give the perspective here, not of a Ukrainian company, but what the international community and the solar community can do to actually help Ukrainian companies during these difficult times for them. And maybe just a few words about Renergy to let you know my background. Renergy is an engineering company and technical advisory one. So we don't do EPC, we are just specialized in the engineering part, the preliminary design and issue for construction design on solar power projects. And Renergy has designed more than 20 gigawatts all around the globe. We're based in Sofia, but as I told you, we mainly work internationally. And so we are used to kind of working all around the globe using different companies and making partnerships everywhere in the world. Today, my presentation is last, so I kind of want to summarize the power of solar and what we can do to actually help bring the state of the world to something that is more familiar and friendly to the humans at large scale. So you have heard from the previous speakers, solar really is an answer to many challenges that we are fighting today, from the dependence on fossil fuels to climate change to even energy independence and security from states that are aggressive. So the war in Ukraine actually brought to a large extent this exact quality of solar, the energy security resilience of solar power assets and the independence it brings in every level. Solar is probably the most versatile renewable energy source, from off-grid applications for small systems, residential, to really big utility scale supply that can replace large quantities of conventional generation. And last but not least, solar is inclusive and socially fair and climate just, preparing us for keeping the world a little bit, at least leaving it a little bit better than we were handed for. And what we as a community can do actually to help this situation, Ukraine and the solar companies there. One is support Ukraine power infrastructure needs through the Solar Power Europe Ukraine Solar Solidarity Task Force. I think that Michael summarized well the initiative and what is forthcoming as events and sponsorship opportunities. What we are doing here on the ground in Bulgaria, of course, support refugees and people on the ground in Ukraine through jobs, either remote or here on the ground, depending on how they are able to move outside Ukraine. If not, probably a remote jobs is something that the solar community can help, at least to different people and companies. Of course, support the EPC companies and installer companies that presented their cases so beautifully before me, to work on different projects in Europe. As you saw, all countries in Europe will bet on solar big time for their energy independence and clean energy in the foreseeable future. And last but not least, we would like to support the transfer of knowledge and know-how, the experience that we have gained over the years to Ukrainian companies. And this is like a suggestion from yesterday, directly to Artem maybe. What you see on the picture here is the Bulgarian translation of the Solar Power Euro's EPC guidelines for best practices in the field. And one of our employees is an Ukrainian national. He volunteered to translate the guidelines into Ukrainian. So maybe, Artem, we can discuss after the webinar this initiative that we are ready to undertake. It was well accepted in Bulgaria. These guidelines are really well written and worth spreading the word for them. So maybe this will be something that the association can help with. And with that, I close my presentation and leave the floor to answer some questions that I see are piling up in the chat, and maybe discuss among the participants some important issues at hand. Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks, Mariana, and a great initiative for translating the guidelines. Let's, if everyone can switch on the camera, then we have our panel now and discuss for the remaining half hour we have. what I would like to do is I would like to structure the panel a little bit in several parts. Maybe we can talk about what's going on today in the Ukraine actually regarding solar. What's the possibilities and or challenges also for Ukrainian companies to work abroad. And third is what's the opportunity for solar in terms of reconstruction, the energy sector of the Ukraine in the mid and long run. Let's maybe start with the Ukraine. What's happening at the moment? There was one question also that was asked about. So several of you mentioned that also, that some of the systems are working, some of the systems are not working, some of the systems are being thought of relocated to the western part of the Ukraine or even to Poland. So maybe I don't know, everyone could give a summary on what's the status of especially and both the big power plants, but also the rooftop systems that exist, because Ukraine had also a considerable rooftop market. So maybe, I don't know, Artem, you want to start, and then we could ask the other participants, the panel.
Yes, Michael, thank you for the floor. And also, I would like to thank to every participant for a great presentation, especially for the presentation of Ukrainian solar potential. As you have seen, these companies present more than 3 gigawatts of reference that have been done in Ukraine and in Europe, and also most of the companies are presented in Europe and have a good reputation there. Concerning the situation in solar industry in Ukraine, and it is obvious that now is not the time to increase the capacities, as it is quite not easy to get the financial support, loans and insurances. But from the other hand, the situation is changing, and we have noticed it even during the last week. There were a lot of talks concerning this support of Ukrainian new projects from the European partners, the involvement of funds that are dedicated to support Ukrainian economy for new projects. And also we see that this is a great case to use solar energy as energy to provide fast, build new capacities fast, and these capacities are reliable, and it is quite easy to operate, as it doesn't need any further supplies for the fossil fuels or other materials that need to be used for producing electricity. And now what I have seen personally, that some owners of PV power plants tried to renovate small damages by their own, and some are not able to do it, as this, the supplies also from the equipment are quite difficult now. But still, what is a very positive moment, Ukrainian energy mix consists of a large scale of solar energy, and I hope that this will remain at least at the same level. So I would like to give the floor to other participants to express their view.
Just feel free to, who wants, Yevgen?
I can make a short comment from my experience. We also own, and I'm the managing partner, almost of 100 megawatt of solar parks in Ukraine. And we had, when the war started, some, I would say, finished, it's completed parks, but we were waiting for the grid connection. And I would say to save our investments and the investments of our partner, we decided to disassemble these parks. So I would say it was only 3 megawatt, which we had under the risk of, they were very close to the frontier line. So today, these I would say the most essential part, the panels, inverters, and substation is disassembled and transferred to, I would say, safe place. We looking at the situation, and we are to decide after what we have to do, whether we bring it back and put into operation, or we have to relocate, I would say, find a new place. Hopefully there are a lot of shovel-ready development in Ukraine, also in the western part of Ukraine, where we can place this equipment, or even thinking of moving some of these disassembled parks to European countries. So this is our cases, what we have.
Yeah.
Also, we do some service of the parks which were bombed. So we were just hired, not, okay, they were damaged. Some of the structures were damaged, some of the panel were damaged. So we were hired to fix them. But, you know, it's dependent from the person, from the owner. I would say a lot of people still optimistic, and no one is leaving their investment like you saw on one of my picture, and everybody try to make their investment working at least at the highest percentage what is possible today.
But are those systems that are feeding into the grid, are the investors being reimbursed now, or at the moment that doesn't work because there's still the feed-in tariff, right?
It depends. Actually, most, I would say maybe 95-97% of all the solar parks, utility scale solar parks, are connected, which are connected to the grid, use the feed-in tariff, which was till the end of, Artem, correct me if I'm wrong, 2019, or even 2021, till the end of 2021. But like we have 14 parks right now, which we are trying to, it's completed parks. We are on the final stage of the connection. And by the way, using the partners from CNES and their trading company, we are moving to the free energy trade market, to the I would say, stock. So I would say today more and more project we will see which will not have the feed-in tariff in Ukraine.
Okay. How is your view, Vladislav?
Yes, thank you again. Definitely. What is the overall situation? Currently, we have a huge deficit on the energy market due to the huge drop down in the consumption. You know, all the big industrial consumers, they were concentrated in the eastern part of Ukraine. And currently, this is partially destroyed or affected by the war. So means we have a huge deficit, and that's why, I mean, the state enterprise, which is responsible for the feed-in tariff payment, they're currently under really difficult situation. And we have no, how to say, we have no problem with this. We understand everything because we have to control finally the war in the country, and we have to deliver all the efforts. So that's why we have started initiative to create our own balancing group, means independently from the state. We are combining the green generation and our customers. We are providing them with the mix of the energy. As I said, we are active on all the energy segments. So means we are practically using day-ahead market, intraday market, whatever. But we are combining all the energy sources in the interest of our customers. And this is our absolutely separate balancing group within the energy system of Ukraine. So this is the way out for the existing solar power plants in Ukraine, because in this case, they could at least find some money, you know, from the generation. As I said, the energy system overall doesn't need any additional energy source at the moment because the consumption is low, minimum 30% less than year before. So, but these are challenges, and under these challenges, Ukrainian business is very smart, and we will find a way how to transform ourselves in order to to be able to cope with the new conditions and with the new challenges. And that's why last year we started our operations in Poland, in order to keep the competence, in order not to lose people, in order to bring, at the end of the day, Ukraine will be a part of the European Union. So that's why we would like to keep all the competence we gained through the years of the booming solar construction in Ukraine, in order to make everything together afterwards. This is European Union strategy to have 600 gigawatt to 2030. This is Repower EU. And we believe that Ukrainian business, professional in EPC, professional in solar, we can play a really distinctive role in this.
Let's move to that later. I just coming still to the current situation. You also have a lot of rooftop systems. They were mostly installed in a net metering scheme, if I
behind the meter, the meter.
But energy security is, at least from me from the outside, also a big concern, because infrastructure is being destroyed by Russia, and solar could, if batteries are included, play then also a 24/7 role these days, and especially also that it is on site and directly can be consumed where it is generated. How are these systems being used today?
At the moment, we are finalizing legislation in order to have a full usability of the energy systems, and we have created our own battery energy storage last year. Of course, it was made for the different parts of the market. This was made for the frequency control and support. But we believe that the energy systems combined with the solar power plants for their own consumption, this will be a great, solution for our customers in future, because it gives you a possibility to stabilize your operational costs against the background when we see that the energy price will go up in any case. If we would like to be stable and sustainable, if we would like to refuse from the fossil fuels, we have to use renewable sources as much as possible, and to implement the latest technological solutions based on the storage or shifting the energy in time in order to decrease this dependence.
But would it also help at the moment? Because I think to build new systems or include batteries. So I'm just thinking about also there are initiatives that's to get also certain power generation equipment in the Ukraine. Some probably work with diesel generators. Diesel is not available. So how could solar help on a distributed level now?
As you saw from my presentation, if we speak from this minimal level, we have created our own solution, which is mobile, which can be expanded in every place and to provide people with the electricity. This is especially important for the close to the direct place of the war. This is very, very important for the eastern part of Ukraine. You can simply move this station to the people and to provide them with the electricity from the solar power stations. Of course, the usage is limited by the military guys, and because the solar power plants they are hot when they work, so that's why it's not been used by the military guys, but it is used by the civilians. And currently, we are getting more and more orders for such mobile solutions in order to provide an energy to the field, to the destroyed villages, etc. And if we speak about future, I do believe that solar, which is one of the fastest deployable solution for the energy, will play a new importance in the rebuilding Ukraine.
Okay, you might actually want to answer it in the chat to Astrid Schneider, who's a longtime solar architect and managing actually some initiative to for solar equipment to the Ukraine, Vladislav, I think, and she was interested in your solution. You might want to answer her in the chat, and
Yeah, okay.
that could be interesting. But just maybe I think finally to Lyudmila, talk about just Ukraine, and then we talk about once again more about the second part, being active outside the Ukraine. Lyudmila, do you want to share also how your systems, or just summarize once again how they are affected, and how are you seeing that, and what are the challenges maybe to move some things, because of course there are also costs involved, and Lyudmila? Are you still with us?
I think she is disconnected for a short time.
Okay, yeah, then let's maybe move to also the activities outside the Ukraine. So if I look at many countries in the European Union, they are desperately looking for installers, for EPCs. Demand is bigger than supply. There's of course also product shortages, but I think much more needed are installers. So how does it work at the moment, or would that work if you at the moment could work in the European Union? I think, Yevgen, you said also you're 100% operating. So is it possible so that if somebody wants to subcontract you, that your employees leave the Ukraine? As I understood, that's not so easy for men.
Yes, actually, we do have some restriction. This is, I would say, equal for any citizen man in Ukraine below the age of 60. So, but we still are, I would say, negotiating right now with the government. By the way, Artyom is also the part of this negotiation for the solar industry, as from the behalf of the association. We offering the mechanism how to prove to the government that, I would say, we as the company keep the responsibility of bringing this stuff, the man back. So it's okay. It's the restrictions are very clear. You are not allowed. So we are finding the way how to make it possible. That's big discussion, like not only in the PV industry, Ukrainians are the second sailor nation in the world. So 60,000 sailors are from Ukraine, are sitting in Ukraine and can't work and bring the money back to Ukraine. So this more or less the same situation in each sector. Then the nice story is that Ukraine has a great experience in the PV industry, even comparing to Poland 2 years ago. Okay, when the Poland boomed, most of the people who were working in the Polish construction sector, PV construction sector, they were from Ukraine also, because Ukraine from 2020, the market was a little bit, I would say, flat. So our hands were there. We definitely will find the solution, because the companies can't, I would say, pay the salaries forever. Like today, we are doing this for 4 months, but the people are looking for another job if you do not provide the job for them inside of the country. Until now, we can do some relocation, some fixing. Okay, there is a spring and summer season coming where you have a lot of work on the field for the maintenance, but still it's not enough to feed them with the work. Okay, we have some staff in Macedonia because we moved the people, the professional people, before the war started. We can't move them now back, but they definitely will go back to Ukraine right now because there are their homes and wives and kids. But and we have to complete the project. In the same time, we are training. I would say the Balkans are, I would say, a new and fresh market for the PV industry. We are training and qualifying some local stuff here. So I would say it's always something, the balance between the qualified people who understand the potential of them when they also train some local people, because it's also to have the Ukrainian man who's working on Ukrainian company or even in the Polish company. You still have to taking care of some accommodation for him. So it might be, I would say, it could be super qualified, but it could be not the cheapest, I would say, the cheapest way to build the park. So it's always the balance. As soon as we find the solution, I know from most of our partners who are buying the structure from us, they are looking for the installers, they're looking for the subcontractors. We are ready to be the subcontractor, and we are doing the subcontracting works in not everywhere, but in a special region where it's capable and reasonable to do. If someone will invite us for, I would say, project which worth to work out, to move the machines, to move the people, to do the proper accommodation for the people, in order to complete it, of course, it's always also the question between the profit, how much time, what is the country, what are limitation. And the one thing which I would say I'm grateful to the whole Europe, that today there are no any problem and any obstacles for Ukrainians to come to enter the country to work even in Switzerland, I think, which was one of the most had most of restriction to have the permission to work. So that's also, I think, one of the way how the European countries are helping Ukrainians to make it super simple.
Okay, maybe Mariana, in Bulgaria, how does it work at the moment? So as a technical advisor, you're involved in a lot of projects. Are you working with companies from Ukraine at the moment?
As a technical advisor, we are before the stage of contracting EPC. So I don't really know how the project continue with the developer. What I can do is that I will recommend the companies from today for sure to be in contact and negotiate directly with the developer after that. This is what I can do to connect. This is what Upstay is doing on the ground, working as a networking hub for companies that are looking for certain jobs. For example, my company, Renergy, is always looking for electrical engineers and qualified PV designers. And we can offer even remote jobs at the moment. Just before the war broke out, we were establishing a partnership with the Kiev University to offer scholarships and trainings to come to Bulgaria and possibly work on the remote basis, or even attract workers to come to Bulgaria. Unfortunately, with the war development, this partnership at the moment has been stalled, but we hope to continue soon on this ground. And here in Bulgaria, there are also refugees from the women that are also qualified workers looking for jobs. They are good quality workers, and I would recommend them always. So far, we have helped several companies hire refugees in different positions, from project management to different administrative staffs and several engineers working on different projects. So this is something that every company on the Solar Task Force of Solar Power Europe can help with at different markets. There are a lot of people in every European country from Ukraine right now, and most of them are well qualified and well familiar with the European grid codes and all the requirements for the PV systems design. So this is what I can share, and as I told you, we are always ready to share knowledge and experience, organize trainings if needed for some of the companies. I know that many of the Bulgarian EPC companies are also looking for workers. This is a common feature all across Europe. Installers and qualified PV designers, project management staff is in short supply. So everyone who is well educated into this field will be very welcome everywhere in Europe.
Okay. Let's maybe spend a few minutes also on the future. Let's hope that the war is soon over, and that restructuring and the country and the infrastructure can be built up once again. So if I think there's also, especially with the Ukraine, also striving to become, and hopefully becomes soon then, a member of the European Union. That would mean, of course, also that that it had to increase its renewable shares. On the other hand, we know that there's also a big effort from the nuclear industry to not only stay, but get even bigger shares. There is also interest from one American company, as I understand, who's actively pushing on that side. So how do you see the chances for solar, also with what Europe is now envisaging with its Repower EU? That goes maybe to all of you, maybe Artem, you first, and then Vladislav, because he also had mentioned that in his presentation.
Yes, Michael, very interesting question from your side. The lesson from the war for Ukrainian energy system was the beginning of March, when two nuclear power plants were almost occupied, and there were a huge risk of accident missile strike to this nuclear power plants. And Ukrainian operator Energoatom constantly reported there is a huge risk of nuclear disaster in Europe. And that's why I think that this is very vulnerable part of nuclear energy, and Ukraine has its special history with the nuclear energy, as all of you know about the Chernobyl disaster, and that it affected a lot of people, not only in Ukraine, but also in Europe. And directly 6,100 people were had health problems or were dead with this accident. So from the other side, we see the economic perspective, and Michael, completely right. You were showing the costs for installing new capacities, and this is only the costs to decommission the existing capacities. So in nuclear sphere. So this is the economical answer for us, that we need to focus to the energy of the next century that has already started, energy of renewable energy, basically. And the third part is, of course, nuclear. Every nuclear power plant needs to supply the cells that they are working, and Ukraine is not producing the cells and cannot store it and also utilize in a proper way. So, to my personal opinion, there is an obvious answer for our country what way we need to choose after the reconstruction and renovation process will start.
Okay. And Vladislav, maybe you?
Yeah, I mean, the solar professionals, they know the solar irradiation of Ukraine, especially against, an example, the same irradiation here in Poland. And I would say that the potential is huge. The question is whether we will be strict with the pushes for ESG, with decarbonization. With the war, we a little bit forgot about the 1.5 Celsius, which is our target already. Yes, we are not able to deliver 0. We are not able so far to deliver 1.5. So that's why I think all the efforts, they have to be directed in order to keep our planet safe as well. Ukrainians, we are fighting for our country, and believe me, we will win, and Ukraine will be a new market of greatest opportunities for all the European business. And I'm pretty sure that everybody from the European business will be present upon our victory. So solar will still be a very important source of the renewable energy, because more and more producers will be interested to have as many as possible of the renewable energy in the energy mix, because this is your exporting opportunities, this is your compliance, this is your ESG answer. So everything is simple.
Ladislav, that was actually better final words that I could have said. So we're coming to the end, and I believe this this was really some nice wrap up. I learned a lot, and from the comments I saw in the chat, there were also a lot of people who learned a lot. To everyone, once again, to the audience, we will have or we will send out the presentations and a recording of the event. There you have also the contacts of the companies in case you are interested in services from Ukrainian companies, or if not, it would be great if you could spread the word. You've seen there's a lot of experience and solar excellence in Ukraine. It would be great if that could be also, now that it cannot be applied so much in the Ukraine, be utilized in other European countries, and we could give back that help whenever it is needed. We at Solar Power Europe, as I already said in the beginning, we stand with Ukraine, and we try our best to support the energy sector with our solar knowledge and our solar experience. And I would like to give the final word to Artem to close this webinar.
Michael, thank you for final word, and I also would like to thank to all the participants and speakers of this event, and Solar Power Europe, that is the reliable friend of solar industry and for the Association of Solar Industry of Ukraine. Mariana, we will definitely come back to the EPC guidelines. It's a great idea. Thank you for that suggestion. And as you have seen, the Ukrainian companies have a great reference case, and they have built the solar industry in Ukraine. They have completed a lot of projects, so you should be completely sure that they are reliable partners, and we will cope with these small difficulties that are now for the economy of Ukraine, and we can do it together. And now Ukrainian industry, solar industry, is ready to help for Europe to achieve their targets, renewable targets that have been announced by Repower Initiative and previously discussions. And after this, I'm sure we can together help Ukraine to rebuild its solar future. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks once again, and everyone, have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.